first thing I want to do is go to File, Trace Image, and we're going to get this new window. And when that pops open, I'm going to navigate to where I have my different images that I want to turn into SVG files saved on my computer. I like to use a coloring book style image like this one. That means it's a basic black and white image. So I can hit the preview, and that's going to show me where those cut lines are going to be, and I like the way that looks, so I'm just going to hit OK, and then this gives me my basic image outline that I'm going to start with. Before I do anything else, I am going to right click on this image and do a copy and paste. This is just so that if I screw up this first one, I have a copy sitting over here that I can go grab. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. So now I want to be able to fill in these different sections with colors. So I'm going to right click and choose break apart. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. See how the bottom sections are not filled in? That is because of that open space at the bottom of this image. So what I am going to do is zoom way in, and I am going to use the little brush tool and actually kind of draw a line in. And I thought about using like a pencil line, but it wasn't thick enough. So I'm going to use this brush line. See, this shows you the pencil line. Not thick enough. But at least I'm showing you the different options and how I played around with it. So I started with the brush tool. I'm like, whoa, that's a little thick. But luckily I can hit undo and adjust the sizing here. And then I can come in and just draw a little line to connect those two sections. And I could have drawn one continuous line across the whole thing, but I wanted to do it in sections to try to get it to be a cleaner look. And you can see I kind of did it and then redid it until I was happy with the look. So now I'm going to want to select everything, and I can do that by going select all. And then I am going to want to kind of join these pieces together, and there's a button under here, here it is, called Union. That's going to connect that bottom line to the bigger shape. So now I can zoom back out and we can take a look at this whole thing. So I deleted the copy of the cat that I had off to the side because I wanted to save the one with the line before I did any further work. So now when I click on this original cat here and grab the whole thing, right click and select break apart. That's going to break each individual boundary into a new section. So you can see I can start to click on things, then go over to the right for my color, and I can change that section to like a pink because this piece I'm picking on is the inside of his ear. So now I can grab this inside of the ear and grab the dropper and say match that pink. And then I can just continue like that by clicking on a section, determining what color it would be, and then going and changing my design to that color. So like, for example, this is the collar piece, so I want that to be a blue. And I'm just going to grab any old blue. And now I grab the other side of the collar piece, and I can go back in and say same blue and hit OK. So that one was really easy because I was using kind of a predetermined blue. But if I want to be matching to exact colors and I'm using a real unique color, then I would use the little eyedropper to kind of get the right color. So I'm just going to let you watch me as I go through the entire image piece by piece, picking on a section, figure out what color it should be, and changing it to that color, either by using my color palette tool that's over on the right, or by using the eyedropper once I've made one color and then picking another to match that original color. There's still some little pieces, so I'm going to zoom way the heck in and move over. And then I'm going to pick on that little piece and use the dropper to match it. Then I want to play with these little pieces in here. I just find it's easier to get that little stuff when you're zoomed in tighter. And there's a little mark that's kind of the glare in his eye, or the twinkle in his eye, some people say. So I'm just making that a slightly different color so that pops out. And let's zoom back out and take a look at things. I'm going to delete this one because I was able to do everything I wanted to do. Really, I was just keeping that second one just in case I messed anything up. I didn't have to start all over. I did notice that the center of the cat's name, which is Socks, did not change over to the gold because it's a separate piece. So what I'm doing is just changing that center piece. So now all of those will match. Let's zoom back out and take a look at things. And at this point, I am going to save my file because I really like how it looks. And if something should happen, I would hate to have to redo everything I've done. So now I've saved at this point. But we're not done. I want to look at these individual colors and layers and kind of merge things together so that it holds their placement and position. So that when I bring in this blue layer, for example, they will have the same spacing and placement. I can do that by, as you saw, clicking on the two blue pieces and saying merge, or I can find the pieces over here in the layers panel and select them that way and then say merge all of those together. And when you look at that top layer, that's the blue one there, you could see that it said merge. So now I can click the Socks name tag and that little center here. So when I clicked that, it didn't do what I wanted it to. or what I expected it to. So let's zoom back in there and scooch over so we're right over it. And there's actually part of this that I want to make sure is cutting through so that it's one layered piece. I'm just going to pull it over here so you can see. See right now how the word socks is not cut out of the shape and just that O is there? So what I'm going to do is click on the S for socks and then hold my shift key and click on the gold name tag piece. And then I am going to tell the software to cut the S from the gold piece. And to do that, I'm going to tell it back minus front. And actually, if I move this off to the side, I should be able to show you. Let's do the next one first. So I want to grab the black part of the O, hold the shift key. So I grab the main gold piece. And then we're going to go for the path and remove the back from the front. And let's do that again. And now, if I click on this name tag now and put it over here, you can see the word socks is cut right through it. So that's what I want. And I can hold that center dot and hold my shift key so I get the main tag. So now I've merged those two pieces together. So that means those two gold pieces for the outer tag and the center O will cut on one layer, placed or arranged exactly how I have them. So I'm going to just keep doing that with each color grouping. So I'm grabbing all the pink things and then I'm going to go say object, merge. So now they're all together on one layer and they will hold all their placing and positioning for, this is going to be great if you're using this image to cut out of vinyl and then to layer it, everything's going to line up perfectly because you have merged all your colors into one layer. So I'm just going to keep doing that for each color in this design. Now, when I hit merge for this tannish color, something went weird with the eyes. I was like, what happened there? So I'm just going to undo real quick and grab the headpiece and slide it off to the side. It's a solid piece. I really want all of the white, green, pink areas to cut, like for a hole to be cut through this tan piece that all of this other stuff pops through. So what I want to do is, much like I did with the socks name tag, I want to find that outer piece, hold the shift key, select the tan, and use my back minus front. And now when I slide this over, you can see it cut that piece, that hole out. Now I can just go undo it. I know it's going to exactly line up. So I'm going to do that same thing with this eye. So I'm grabbing where the black is going to show through and then subtracting it from the face piece. And now I'm going to start to grab things and say merge with all of these, kind of a golden brownish tannish kind of color. Trying to describe that color is hard. So there's all of those pieces now all together. And I can put them right back in place. And now what I want to do is, there are a lot of separate tiny little pieces of black underneath all of this, and I want to make it one big solid piece. What I like to do with my designs is really lay down that black piece first when I layer things, and then layer on top of that. So now I'm just turning off using the little on off toggle on my layers. And I'm turning off everything except for the black. And you can see if I hover over pieces, there are separate little pieces to this black, but I want to make it all one big shape. So I'm going to just select the whole thing, and then I'm going to go up to my path and say union. So I'm joining that into one piece. So now let's start to turn some of those colors and layers back on. So this is, when it cuts, how I would actually layer things. Just exactly like this. Cut each layer and stack them on top of each other. This one, I'm going to have to tell it to arrange it to the top so that I can visually see it. But now you really start to see this whole cat design come together, which is kind of magical to see it actually happening right in front of you. It's all about just turning on the right layer and arranging it. Okay, save your project, because we don't want bad stuff to happen and for all of this hard work to get lost. Now I'm going to grab everything and I'm going to tell it to group it, because I want these to all come in together as a grouping and be able to resize them all together. So then after that, you know what, actually I should save again after I've grouped, because I want everything to be right. Now I can click my export button, and I'm going to export this as a SVG file. This means that I can send it to somebody and they can upload it into their program. As most of you know, I started off with using Cricut. So I'm actually going to show you how, once I save this as an SVG file, let's jump over to Cricut Design Space. And I'm going to go upload my design, and I'm going to go pick on the actual SVG file that I just created. And then you see it comes in, it defaults to a cut image because it is a SVG file. And when I click it there and say add to canvas, come on, add to canvas. Everybody's waiting, they want to see it happen. Okay, I clicked it twice, so it brought in two. But you can see it brought in each layer, or each color is on its own separate layer when we look at the layers panel over here on the right. It's all grouped together. So I could resize this and I can just click on it to move it, and it all is going to work together perfectly. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.